What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel Sleepy Dreepy. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the top 5 decks that I believe you can take to either Players Cup 3 or even the Team Challenge this weekend and, you know, possibly see some success with. So let's get right into the decks. So the first deck that we're going to go ahead and take a look at is Zach Lesage's ADPZ. I'm personally not a big fan of ADPZ, but ADPZ is always in the back of my mind as something that I could possibly fall back if I personally, let's say I don't have time to test a lot. This is an easy archetype that you could go ahead and take with very little testing. It's such a powerful deck and it does what it needs to do. And it's not to say that the deck is completely brainless. It's just you're worried about one thing. You're worried about altered creation, boss, and just going that route will win you a lot of games. So I think that's why it's my number 5 pick currently. Not my favorite deck, but you can't ignore it that it is a powerful deck and will do what it needs to do in and out every game. For my 4th option, I'm going to go with Centiskorch, specifically the variants that Cashman has been going with. I believe Cashman, I think obviously it's not the exact same list, but there's different variants here and there. Some variants run Giratina. So if you think Lucmetal will see big play, go ahead and throw in the Giratina. But this is the main deck list that I would most likely take if I were to be playing in the Players Cup or Team Challenge, and decided to go with Centiskorch. Centiskorch is not my favorite deck. I felt like I don't know how people like Cashman and other people run Centiskorch and do so well with it. Every time I feel like I play Centiskorch, I break. So that's why it's at my number 4 pick, but I do know it's a powerful deck. Its damage output is insane, and it has a favorable matchup against ADPZ and also Turbo Zacian's variants that might be out there, and also Lucmetal. So it has a lot of good matchups against the many steel type decks that are running around, and it can still do fairly well against even Eternatus. Etern is a little bit favored in the matchup against Etern versus Centiskorch, but again, Centiskorch doesn't automatically lose to it. It's just it could still win to it. So again, Centiskorch could be a good play for you to take. And on with the 3rd deck is Lucmetal Zacian. The list below was ran by Jake Gearhart, I believe, at the recent Chill series, where they were playing for a tropical beach. And I just like this. I know that there's other versions with Tack Call and Call Energy popularized by Stefan Ivanov, but I personally like Jake Gearhart's straightforward list of using Pokegears to be able to search for supporters. Fairly easy. Coding Metal Energies do help you out in the fire matchups, but again, a lot of Centiskorches do run the Giratina. You may want to add a Stealthy Hood possibly, so that Giratina doesn't hit you and knock off your Coding Metal Energy and make you weak to their attacks, but it may not be completely needed. Again, I just like the straightforward list of Lucmetal Zacian, so that's why I'm going with it. And the reason why I have this smack in the middle of my top 5 is because it's Lucmetal Zacian is my deck that I feel more comfortable with, but I know it's a big meta call where if I have to keep an eye on the meta and see if it's gonna stay Etern a lot. Like, we have this constant like cycle in our meta right now where it's like Lucmetal. Once Lucmetal does well, Centiskorch decides to go back up. Once Centiskorch is doing well, Etern starts to do well, and then we're going back. Etern goes up, then Lucmetal starts to come back. So it depends on where we're at the time. So that's why I have it very in the middle of my kind of list, because it's very meta dependent. So I don't know. So yeah, that is my number 3 choice, Lucmetal Zacian, specifically how Jake Gearhart runs it. And then 2nd choice, PikaRom. Let's be real, PikaRom, even people said Rusted Sword will kill it, but honestly, it's still doing some decent success out there. And PikaRom is just consistent, so like it doesn't have any really bad matchups, because believe it or not, Paralyzed Stamp is such a good combo with the deck that I can go ahead and come back from behind so easily with that combination. And with the combination of like Team Yelgart and Crushing Hammers, it just stops people from being able to accelerate their board state. And honestly, with the ADP route, playing Rusted Sword, you can go ahead and play Big Charms and go to double Mewtwo route. That way it makes it harder for them to kind of swing for one-hit KOs on your Mewtwo. And that way your Mewtwo has 300 HP. Even with a Rusted Sword and a Altered Creation, they can't hit you. They only hit 290, so they would need some kind of either Zigzagoon Ping, which most ADP's decks aren't even playing anymore, or they're gonna need some kind of Leon, which is that's a big stretch for some of those decks to sometimes reach, and to be able to do it twice would be rough. So yeah, that's why I think PikaRom is still going to be good. It's a very consistent deck, and it does what it needs to do inside and out. Accelerating energy, Bolton can do big damage mid to late game, and yeah, it's just an aggressive. You can recover energy with Tapu Koko and stuff like that. So I think we can't sleep on PikaRom right now. So yeah, it's my second choice, and if I were to go with PikaRom, this is probably the list I would go to. Double Big Charm, double Air Balloon, 10 energies, 3 Lightning energies. Basically very similar list with just a couple different cards, not even that much. So, and on to my number one choice will probably Eternatus VMAX. And yes, it is the hammer version right now. Eternatus is just really good. With Rusted Sword coming out, it's set up Etern to be able to, since ADPZ is probably going to be seen a lot just because for 2 factors. One, ADPZ doesn't really automatically lose to any matchup. It can still win even with a good amount of times, even in its bad matchups, because of its one-hit KO potential and how easily it can get there. And 2, it just doesn't care about VMAXs. All it wants to do is boss squishy things up and kill those and take 2 kills that way. So but Eternatus VMAX can easily one-hit KO and ADP is at the turn after Alter Creations, which slows down the deck very heavily. So all E-turns most of the time will need to do is set up a Zigzagoon and a full bench, and they can KO the ADP, sending them back very far. And then after that, E-turn just needs to boss something small like a 1-prizer, they just need to KO constantly. They can just KO a Zacian and then a 1-prizer and they win. So I think this is why E-turn right now is good. Yes, I am playing the hammer version, but that's because it allows us to slow down ADPZ, allows us to slow down in the mirror a little bit. I know it's not completely foolproof because E-turn can just power accelerator, but it still helps sometimes. Sometimes you just don't have it, so like just giving that one turn where you knock energy can make a big difference. So yes, E-turn will probably, if I don't get much testing done, I feel like E-turn might be the play as well for me, just because I know it's consistent, and this current build allows you to take on things randomly, such as it makes your Lucmetal matchup better because you have a lot more single prizes you can attack with. You can attack with the Yveltal, Hoopa, and Spiritomb. Same thing, it also makes your Decigoons matchup, because again, you turn the deck into more of a 1-prize attacker, and a combination of hammers and Yveltal, you can run your Decigoons player out of energy and then just clean the board with Hoopas and Spiritombs and knock out anything that can be knocked out with a Eternatus VMAX. So that's why I think E-turn is in a very good place right now to take over the meta and continue doing well. So yeah, all right guys, so those are the top 5 decks that I personally will be looking at this week and deciding what I want to take to the team challenge. I didn't make the second phase of Players Cup 3, so I will be doing the team challenge hopefully this weekend. So again, I will be messing around with these 5 decks this entire weekend, seeing what I will take. I think these are just the most consistent, more powerful decks in the current meta right now. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you're liking the content you're seeing, if you want to see some more Pokemon TCG content, feel free to subscribe down below. Smash the like button if you do like this video, and let me know down below what you think is the best. What do you think is the play for this weekend? Either you're playing it either in the Players Cup or Team Challenge, whatever you think it is. Let me know what you think below. I hope you guys have a good day, and peace.